Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk. But this has been such a busy week when it comes to the drama from Hollywood. Oh my gosh. Everyone's on a writer's strike and an actor's strike. Who is working behind the scenes to keep this all going? Because I feel like it's the podcast world, and a lot of them are actors. So this is very interesting how juicy it is. But a lot of it seems really, really personal, especially when it comes to the Jeff Lewis stuff, especially when it comes to the Heather and Krista stuff. It is really, really juicy. Now, I lived in Hollywood. I was an actor for 20 years, and I'm just personally, I'm not taking any of my political advice, moralistic ethics, living wise. I'm not getting any of that from Hollywood. Okay? I've lived there. I know what it takes to make it. And that is why I left Hollywood. I was like, you know what? I'm just not cut out for this world. I'm gonna go back to New Jersey and then Brooklyn, and that is where I'm gonna stay. I didn't stay there long term, but I spent a very large part of my life there. Heather is just she's an older, I say this all the time, she's an older woman. She's from a different generation. She comes from like an Irish Catholic background, and she's living in the center of debauchery. Who is taking their advice from anyone in Hollywood? Have you never lived there? Have you never hung out with these people personally? I have. And like I said, I'm not taking any advice from these people. They're not operating on plain earth, okay? So, Jeff Lewis, Krista likes to party. I have a feeling they all like to party. And I feel like Heather probably likes to drink and get down, but she wants to have her like Chardonnay or whatever, her buttery Chardonnay, whatever she likes to drink. And she probably wants to go home and fight with Peter and then like go cry in the bathroom. I don't know, but I don't think that she would fit in with Justin and Krista. Krista's hot. Not saying Heather isn't a pretty woman, but Krista's like a hottie patati. I know on Jeff Lewis, someone said that she was asking for Adderall while they were out drinking. So, I mean, we all know that Heather is terrified of drugs. And Justin Martindale has said it many a times on her podcast that he likes to smoke the ganji. And so what? Who cares? A lot of people smoke the ganji, but she is of a different generation. She is from the generation of reefer madness, okay? So, in my opinion, I think that she is getting hit with the fact that she just doesn't fit into her hometown anymore. I never fit into my hometown. I knew in fucking kindergarten, I was like, get me the hell out of here. Me and these people, we do not see eye to eye. Okay? So I just like knew at a very early age that I didn't fit into my hometown. And I'm a little bit of a woman without a country. You know? I'm still figuring it out. I don't quite fit in anywhere, and that's okay. Now, Jeff went in on her hard with the earrings. He is such a bitch. That's why him and Heather are friends, or were friends, because they truly are two snarky bitches. Okay? Jeff, someone put a clip up on TikTok. I didn't listen to the entire thing. But Jeff made the earrings such a big deal. He is making the earrings such a big deal. And from a just neutral party standpoint, I don't lend out my clothes because I don't want, and I certainly would not lend out expensive jewelry because I don't want these issues. So if you don't do it, I don't know why. Well, Heather did say in one of her podcasts that she was friends with this girl and she went to put on her perfume and the girl was like, no, we cannot smell the same. We have to smell different. So Heather is probably just one of those girls like, can I borrow this? You could borrow that. Can I borrow this? Whatever. Like, maybe she's like a little Pollyanna-ish, where she's like, oh my God, I don't know. But I don't like to lend stuff out anyway because I don't want these issues, right? I don't want those issues. So I don't know why I'm thinking Krista probably felt like peer pressured into lending her the earrings because Heather is like, why won't you let me wear your perfume? Why won't you let me borrow your earrings? You know, so Krista was probably like, here, just borrow these, whatever. But that's on you, Krista. Expensive thousands of dollars earrings? No, don't lend those out. Are you watching, Mommy? Are you just sitting in here sweating? Iggy's here. He's just sitting over here panting. But I don't know why she would lend her those expensive earrings. I don't know why Heather wouldn't, even if they were cheap earrings, I don't know why she wouldn't have followed up and been like, hey, I lost these earrings. Please let me know what I owe you. Give me the link. Let me send them to you. So that was pretty weird. But I just think that like all of this Megan Weaver, and I just like, I don't know, I've never really had a good experience with a girl named Megan. I've had like horrible experiences with girls named Megan. So I don't want to be like biased and say anything bad about Megan Weaver, but I just think that Megan Weaver, yes, she had like a traumatic divorce and all that stuff, but she just comes off like, I'm the best. Everyone loves me. She just seems like she had like a very easy life. She had like a nice family. Everyone gets along. Like she got a great settlement from her ex-husband. She has like the cute boyfriend. You know, Megan just seems like she's out of touch. Whereas Heather, I think, wasn't always popular. Even though she was a sorority girl, she might have been the girl in the group that they kept around to like kind of like make fun of on the side. And maybe that's why she got into comedy. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh my God, I had to leave Heather's Juicy Scoop obsessed Facebook page because she was getting so mad if people mentioned other actors or comedians. Now, here's the thing. I was in the industry for so long and I did have a lot of people sabotage my career, and it is such a brutal business and you meet with so much constant rejection and disappointment and broken hopes and backstabbing. And I do not believe Chelsea Handler. I don't like Chelsea Handler. She always like dated TV executives. Yeah, she maybe slept her way to the top. I don't know. But she doesn't seem like she has very strong morals or ethics herself. So anyone who goes far in Hollywood and is popular in Hollywood probably does not have a good soul. Okay, unless we're talking about like Fran Drescher, who I met at Ed Begley Jr.'s house in 2006 because he was having a party to launch his eco-friendly cleaning line, which I hope is still around. He had a very interesting house and he collected weird, rare dolls from what I could remember going back to 2006. She was very nice. I met her in the kitchen. My manager, her name at the time was Coco D'Este. Her real name is like Marina something, but she was married to David Carradine. That is who my manager was when I was in LA. And her and Fran Drescher knew each other. My old manager used to make these like angel keychains. I remember that. Anyway, she was very nice. But I'm saying the people who really, really go far in LA, I don't trust them, and I certainly am not going to be taking any life advice from them on any platform, okay? Anything Hollywood promotes, go the other way, all right? So I think that Jeff is just being so fucking snarky, and I know that's his whole shtick, and I love him. I heard somebody say that they were a juicy chump, and I also am a juicy chump because I love both of them. I grew up watching Flipping Out, and it's interesting to see the progression of Jeff Lewis from the beginning of Flipping Out when life in the world was still kind of normal. Like watching him interact with, and that was at the time when I was like living in LA too. So watching him interact with Jenny Poulos and her husband at the time and like all the staff in the house, it all seemed very like real and authentic. She was like really genuinely a friend of his. And then as the show progressed, you really saw him come into his own sort of like big head, and she just never felt supported by him. So it's interesting. Jeff is going to throw shade at Heather for not being like a supportive friend or whatever. He stood in the way of Jenny Poulos a lot. He would always say that he would let her go and audition whenever she wanted. But when she needed to go for an audition, which they could literally come up last minute, I know, you need flexibility. And he actually really didn't give that to her. He would say he did, but it was like very like two-faced in that respect. So I see Jeff just like dragging Heather. This to me seems like it's been brewing for a really, really long time. You know? It's like little things pile up over time and then just explode. This is the explosion. And Megan Weaver, I don't think she was lying when she said that people didn't really like Heather on the show, because I'm pretty sure Heather was on one time with Doug, and I could tell Doug didn't like her. I could just tell. Who I would love to see if I really wanted to stir the fucking pot. I know that Todd Lewis has a crush on Amanda McCants, because he was like, oh, Jeff, you should have Amanda McCants on. I want to see if you really want to start some trouble. Put fucking Amanda McCants on with Todd Lewis. Watch the sparks fly. That would be a fucking scandal. But I could just tell he will never have Todd on with Amanda, because Carrie is probably knows. Why did he want her on there? Why did he want her on there? Interesting. That's my 2 cents about that, is I really think that Todd Lewis has a crush on Amanda McCants. And Jeff also has a type. It's the brunette, Paige, Krista, Jenny Poulos back in the day, brunette, brown eyes, brown hair. He definitely has a type of woman that he likes to surround himself with. I wonder what his mom looks like. Maybe she was blonde. I don't know. But he definitely has a type that he likes to look at. So, but I just think that he's being a douche, and he has come really close on his show. Because I have a feeling, like, I've dated a guy who's from Ireland, and partying hard, read between the lines, is really popular in like Europe and the UK and all that. And when he was really mad at Stu, he came super fucking close, I think, to saying some stuff that he just should not say. So he's an Aries. Jeff is an Aries. And Heather is a Gemini. Of course she's going to make her money speaking, communicating, entertaining. She's a Gemini. She's ruled by Mercury. Okay? Mercury has also been in retrograde. And I swear I don't know her birth chart, but I would bet money Heather has a Leo rising. I would bet money. I don't know for sure. But Gemini with a Leo rising, her eyes are very cat eye, very Leo. So if somebody could like go in and find Heather's birth chart, she's definitely got Leo prominently in her chart. I say probably rising. Anyway, we had the Venus retrograde in fucking Leo. We had the Mercury retrograde. Heather is just going to be going through it. Everything she says is not going to be coming out correctly and is not going to be taken kindly and not being taken correctly. When she posted today on her story, the gays are trying to kill me, I was still in this bed. The pain in the ass cats got me up because I had to get them their food, and I was like, mommy has to lay down for 5 seconds. I opened that and I was like, what is the juice today? And I just started laughing hysterically. She's like, I can't relate to Heather at all because we just have nothing in common. But she gives me Ramona vibes. Like, you know how Ramona was just like a fucking spastic doofball? Those are the vibes that Heather gives me. She's just like a spaz, okay? And she even said it when I lost Chris's earrings. I was dancing like a spaz or whatever, and it fell out. Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows? But I'm not buying any fucking Patreons, that's for sure. I'm gonna get the secondhand juice from you guys, and I'm gonna continue to tune in though. I'm tuning in. All right, let's talk a little bit about a depressing subject, which is Ruby Frank. Is it Frankie? Is it Frank? Can somebody clarify this for me? She's a fucking nightmare. What a fucking nightmare this woman is. How mean she was to her children on camera. It's like, wow, if you're willing to put that on camera and put that out into the world, then I can't even imagine what is going on behind closed doors. Where was the husband? Where was the husband? Do not give him custody of these children. Where was he when his children were locked in a safe room in this lady's basement? I think that Ruby became a lesbian. And I think that this one... Now, here's the thing. This other woman, I forgot her name, she was like a mental health coach or whatever. I have had to... This Ruby Frank thing is actually a lot like my childhood. And I think that a big part of why I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid so bad, that someone would fucking notice if I was dead. Because if my mother would have had me without... You know, she kept me very, like, isolated. They could have killed me and nobody would have even noticed. So thank God I was on TV and had to show up to work, because then people actually needed to know where I was. And, you know, there were a few times that I had, like, things that were on my body and they said, what is going on? What is going on with this kid? And if... It doesn't matter if a woman is attractive or if she has a minivan or if she has other children. It doesn't mean that she can't be severely abusing her children and withholding food. And I was like, I had never seen this woman before. Maybe like 2 or 3 days before the news broke about her arrest, I saw her on my TikTok, and somebody had made like a clip of her saying my kids have to be out of the house when they're 18. And I was like, woo. I was like, that woman just doesn't seem like if I were her child, I would want to be out of the house. Then the news breaks about her arrest, and I thought to myself, I wonder if she was mean to all of the children or just one of the children, because a lot of times mothers like this will choose just one of the children to take all of her anger and frustration out on and abuse. And it turned out that she hated 2 of the children, little Eve and the little boy. I can't remember what his name is, but it turned out that she targeted 2 of her children the hardest, from what they're saying. The fact that this is what freaks me out. I don't really, as much as I want to live on a farm and all of that stuff, living in a rural area These fucking people, you think that there's not a builder out there who's got 3 kids he's got to put through fucking college and he needs to make a lot of money, and a very wealthy person comes along and says, I'm going to pay you $100,000 to build a safe room in my house. Don't ask any questions. You think that there are not builders out there? Yes, of course there are. Who are like, no problem, discretion will be had. I will take your $100,000 because I have 3 kids. I have triplets that I got to put through fucking college. I'm taking it. And my wife is going to divorce me if I don't buy her a new car. Yeah, there are people out there like that. So clearly somebody built this torture room for these children. And I genuinely think that Ruby Frank became a late in life lesbian, genuinely hated all of these children. She must hate herself, because for a woman to birth 6 children and to starve them and to beat them and to neglect them and then actually publicly to take joy, she must hate herself. And through the hatred of herself, she abuses these children. That is the only... Because little children, they're little children. How are you gonna be mad at them for eating? Mothers are very sick. I know that this sucks, but they could be pretty. They could have a minivan. They could have a house. They could have a restaurant. They could have a husband. And I'm telling you, it all comes out eventually. Now, what is so horrible and sad to me is these poor children, they're going to have a long road ahead of them. 100%. Any woman who like props her children up, or her child's illness up, or shares little personal details about her child's, life like that, is such a red flag to me. All of these there were doctors who were suspicious of Gypsy Rose, her mom. But it's like in this society today, you have to be like, oh, wow, this is so horrible. Like, nobody's allowed to ask any questions. And honestly, it reminds me of like my grandmother's generation. My grandmother is like, that didn't happen. Oh, it just happened one time. Oh, stop, you're fine. Like that, we're still stuck in that. And it's got to be like Stockholm syndrome. Well, guess what? I'm the type of person, I don't fucking care. If I think something weird is going on, I'm straight up going to say something. And it's been to my, it doesn't make me popular, but my soul, here's what I think. In this lifetime, our souls, we come back so many times, and no matter how, for me, I know that my soul needs to be honest and confronting of evil, because my soul's going to come back again. And I think it's like a cumulative thing. Like, we come back to learn these lessons. Well, in this lifetime, it is important for me to stick up for animals, to stick up for children. That's what's important to me in this lifetime. So make these people uncomfortable. And the fact that Ruby Frankie's neighbors, apparently did report this, or her children did report it, the CPS people in wherever it was with that poor little boy, and the CPS woman said, your stepfather is a good man. Meanwhile, they're making this little boy sleep in a cabinet and eat cat litter. Okay? It's like the people who are in charge of our safety sometimes are the most fucking evil. So Ruby Frank, or Frankie, she doesn't even really deserve her name to be pronounced properly. I hope she does not ever see the light of day outside of a jail cell. That's what I hope. And her disgusting cohort. This is what we have to, seriously, people attack the children because when people sexually abuse a child, they break that child's spirit. And they know that that child will end up usually being a drug addict or an alcoholic. And it's like they're feeding off the loosh of that child's suffering. This is what these people do. These people do exist. These people are out there having children, looking pretty, all dressed cute and nice. If you sense something is off, say something. Make them feel uncomfortable. Make them feel like, I fucking see you. Okay? I had a weird neighbor, and I said to him, whose little girls are those? Oh, one of them is mine, one of them is my girlfriend's. Where's your fucking girlfriend? I never see the girlfriend. I said, well, I just want you to know, I'm fucking watching you. That's what I said to him. That is what I said to him. And I just wanted him to fucking feel that somebody was watching. And maybe it saved these little kids from one bad experience. I don't know. But I just wanted him to feel like I was fucking watching him. Okay? So, Ruby Frank, leave your comments below. Have you ever encountered a mother like this? Have you come across them? Did they get, in trouble, reprimanded, anything? Let's start a conversation about this. And it's like, not just drug addict mothers. Sometimes drug addict moms aren't even bad moms. But it's these moms who have this weird, sick control fetish that this Ruby Frank lady had. They exist. All right. Let's move on to Carl and Lindsay. I don't remember, was it Up and Adam, or was it's one of the other podcast dudes that I watch. They were speculating that Carl swang the other way. Now, I lived in the city for a long time, and I know a lot of straight guys with drug and alcohol addictions who have gotten sexual favors from men. And honestly, if you are, like, in my experience, dealing with men who have drug and alcohol addictions, there's usually something else underlying. Maybe it's like past abuse or something like that. But could be not being comfortable with coming out and being in their sexuality. I've seen that within my own family. I've seen that with people, men very close to me who had very bad, severe addiction issues. Now, some other people are speculating that he had a pregnancy scare with his mistress. Carl is not the type of guy to settle down. And watching him and Lindsay last season on Summer House, it was like Lindsay wants to be married so badly. And I just wonder what separates Kyle and Amanda from the Carl and Lindsay's, because Kyle gives me Carl vibes. So what is it about Amanda? Literally no shade to Amanda, but she's, I know, kind of plain Jane. And Kyle is a party guy, 40 years old, still wearing a hat on his penis at the party with a fucking mullet. What? And he also seems like a big commitment phobe. So, what's the difference between Carl and Lindsay and Kyle and Amanda? I don't know. Is it the fact that Amanda has a really, and I hate to bring it back to this, but in my own experience in life, men hate that I don't come from a good family. And they don't want to be with me. They don't want to marry me. They don't want a long-term relationship with me. They don't really take me seriously because I don't have a family that can help them get ahead in life. And as successful as Lindsay is, she doesn't have a family like Amanda's. Amanda's New Jersey family, beautiful house, definitely invested a shit ton of money into Loverboy. Kyle is probably a little bit afraid of disappointing Amanda's dad. Whereas poor Lindsay, she has Aunt Rhonda. Nobody fucking cares about Aunt Rhonda. As a woman, and this is like another thing that pisses me off about the world, is like society is really shredding the family unit. And as a woman who has come from a shredded family unit, they know that they're instantly putting us at a disadvantage. I am instantly 20 steps behind everybody my age who came from a good family, because I had to claw my way through this life. And it's made me a hard ass. It's made me take zero bullshit. It's made me like, I'll do it my fucking self. So what separates Amanda from Lindsay? The good family. I bet if Lindsay came from an influential, wealthy family, Carl would have married her. Okay? Let's see who Carl ends up with. Is he going to end up with a woman, a man? I bet whoever it is, male or female, they're going to have a good family. They're going to have an influential family. That's just my opinion. Now, let's just segue this right into Roni, okay? I'm giving this a chance. I really am. I still think that they should take Jenna and they should put her with Sonia Ramona, Luann, Dorinda. That is who I want to see. I don't want to see her with these younger girls. Two different generations. So I genuinely do not believe that Erin is legally married to Abe. I don't, because I know, I lived in New York. A lot of people do not get legally married. They have a ceremony, like a commitment ceremony, but they don't legally go through with it in the courts because it's much more beneficial as a single person to have children in Manhattan and work the system. So I'm sure they have a shit ton of money, but I would be very interested to know if they are legally married. I don't think that they are. Brynn was so... To me, I don't know what she does for work, but to me, I want to be her friend. I want to be her friend because she's adorable. I mean, maybe not in real life if I ever met her, but I think that she's funny. I think that she's pretty. I think that I love a woman who has that grit. She really did. And I said in my other post, for her just to not share too much, like, because no matter how stunning she is and how she looks like straight royalty is usually busted looking. Royalty looks like King Charles, and fucking ugly ass Camilla, where gorgeous Diana was ostracized. So look at the royalty there. They're not usually beautiful. She is fucking beautiful. She should be royalty. Okay, but because she comes from that background, people don't realize how classist society really truly is. Like, if you're not going to camp every year, if you aren't going to, they have a certain way to suss out who is a part of the crowd and who is not. And to me, regular people, we've had to really come up through the ranks on our own. So we are harder. We are more no bullshit. And Brynn is gorgeous to boot. She would love to be loved like Abe loves Erin. But because she's not from wealth and she's not from, like, what was Gideon, who she went to buy the Bentley with or whatever? He wants a woman whose family is wealthy. And as stunning as Brynn is, he's not going to let her in to the club. Okay, I've dated wealthy men. They go to these special clubs. I wasn't invited. because I literally would have been like, you people are fucking phony. You all do too many drugs and you're disgusting and I can't fucking be here. So they know because I don't have that boarding school training. That's what it is. So I don't think that Erin is legally married to Abe. I think that they're married because Erin probably comes from a great family and he's able to get up a rung in the ladder and they're able to be influential together. It seems like they know a lot of influential people. Now, on to Uba, who is so cute and funny, and I really like her. But she was friends with Prince Andrew. Wasn't he up to, like, weird shit? Jacob the Jeweler? It's 6 degrees of separation from creeps in Hollywood. I hate to say that. Jessel is so putting on airs, and Pavitt wants to blow up her spot so badly. He really does. I'm actually, what are we, 6 or 7 episodes in? I'm finally getting excited for Mondays when I can watch the new episode and I can see Pavitt make fun of Jessel. But this is another reason why I don't ever want to get married again, is because men truly do operate on their own, like, wavelength. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Vietnam for banh mi. And she's like, Pavitt, you didn't tell me. You know, and it's like, I don't need a man in my life not telling me where he's fucking going and sharing it with me and bringing me into the fold of the intricacies of his decision making in life. Like, what I see from a lot of wealthy men or men in jobs like that, or jobs in, like, you know, TV or whatever, it's like everything is so fucking important to them, and their travels are so important, and they're traveling with such rich and wealthy people. At this age, I would rather marry a guy who sells real estate in the town that I live in. Like, I don't want a guy who's getting international phone calls in the middle of the night. I don't want a guy who has to travel all the time for work. I don't fucking want that, okay? Because that means that he has bitches in other area codes. I know, because I dated guys like this. Oh, I have to go to London. Oh, really? Can I come? No, it's a business trip. What? Really? So I think that Jessel and Pavitt are totally an arranged marriage, and they're going to have their 3 kids, and they're going to be married for like 10 years, and then probably going to start dating some like 25-year-old. That's my opinion on that. What else? Jenna. She reminds me of my friend Anais, who is no longer, R.I.P. Anais. Anais taught me to be secretive. She was like, oh, I always erase my search history in my computer. I was like, what? Who cares? Who's like looking at your search history? She ended up dying at 32 from like an accidental overdose. And this is crazy. She was on antibiotics. She took her like Prozac or whatever, you know, she was on. And then she had like a glass of wine. And I don't know if she took like a sleeping pill after, but she literally went night-night and then never woke up. So word to the wise, if you're taking, I'm not a doctor, but I lost a friend that way. If you're taking antibiotics and like other stuff, don't do that, and definitely don't have a glass of wine. It'll just suppress your heart until it just doesn't beat, and then you pass away. So, but Jenna really does remind me of my friend Anais, who is very like reserved, and we used to go to ballet together in Manhattan, and she was very like beautiful and blonde and thin and willowy and magical, and she like really just had like that mysterious air to her, you know? So That's who Jenna just reminds me. She's guarded. She was a big CEO of J. Crew I think it was the CEO of J. Crew for a long time. So she's definitely rubbed elbows with like very wealthy, influential people. And they really genuinely do have a modicum of discretion that other people don't have. Like Brynn, maybe when Brynn is like 53, she'll have that after 20 years of experience of knowing to just be like a little bit more polished, a little bit more phony. And that's how Jenna comes off to me, is like she's been in the game a really long time. She's pretty discreet. And I think that she would do so much better. Like, I would love to see her and Dorinda in the room together. Right? I would love that. So that is the story, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in for all of this juicy gossip. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these subjects, and we will obviously stay up to date with all of it. I can't wait to see the truth about what happens with Carl and Lindsay. And I just want to say, everyone who's like, Paige DeSorbo was right. She is a Scorpio. And she has supersonic feelers. I think she might be like a little bit psychic. But Paige DeSorbo knows what's up because she can see right through people. And I don't think that she would ever do well living in Charleston, because Charleston is so, how y'all doing? And Paige is a fucking New Yorker. So, all right. On that note, you guys, thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time.